Hello guys and welcome to this video. Today we'll be taking a look at two APC games in bot lane. These are my runes and I will mostly be focusing on the early game, like the laning phase, to try and give you some more laning understanding. Having a good early game is extremely important for climbing because it sets you up for a great mid game, and if you're able to come out of lane with a lead in most of your games, there's a high chance you would win a lot of them if you're good at team fighting. So let me show you one of the reasons why I like Electrocute a lot. Is it procs super easy with Swain, right? I just hit E, pull and auto and it procs. And it's just a lot of damage. It's a very good poke. One of the things about bot lane though is understanding the matchups. And it's not like mid lane where it's a 1 versus 1 matchup like Swain versus C and you gotta learn the ins and outs. It's 2 versus 2. You can understand more like the dynamic of the matchup. Like me and Rel can't walk up because they have range advantage this early on. You can see I land another E here actually and proc Electrocute. And it's just stacking up a lot of damage already. But as I said, yeah, we have a melee champ in the level 1, which sometimes is much weaker than a range champ like Janna. So we just have to let the wave push into us. We need to understand this, because if we don't understand this, we're gonna walk up, we're gonna lose. And one of the things you don't want to do on Swain is lose all your HP early game. You're a champion that doesn't get all his power from auto attacking, you get your power from your spells, right? So you want to get to your at least level 3 before you can start really looking for something, right? You can still look for poke, but you're not Draven. You can't just run people down level 1 with axes, right? So now I notice a pattern. Can you see how Varus is hogging the wall? I start to notice that this player specifically does this a lot. He goes against the wall and hogs it. And this is a mistake against Swain. He doesn't know about this. So now I just wait for level 4, then place a W behind him, forcing him to walk backwards into me and Rel. I guarantee land E. And now we just completely chunk him down. I actually end up flashing here, because I didn't think Rel had the range on auto. And I want to make sure he died, right? But that's really, really good. That's a great pick. With him dead, we simply just push in the wave. And now, we can go back and use the money we just got from the kill. But do you notice what I did, right? I waited until he put himself in a situation where he either gets hit by the W, or the only way he dodges is walk it into me and Rel, and then there's a high chance I land E. So he goes forward to try and stop our base. So now we can actually chunk him a lot again here. You can see he's actually one auto attack away from death. And this is one of the things that make Swain APC especially strong compared to a normal ADC. And it's the greatest if it's paired with an engage support like Rel, Nautilus, Alistar. Champs that can go in, provide CC, and then you can follow up with your E. Because on Swain bot lane, if you can manage to land your E, it's almost always a win. So again, here look, I wait for Rel to use her CC on Janna, and then I press my CC. Like, it's very straightforward. And you can see already this early on, it almost leads to a one shot on Janna. Rel is very low, I'm just gonna try and follow up on as much as damage I can. Look at this, I position myself so I land my Q on both Varus full damage and on Janna as well so I can kill her. And I walk up close to him, because Q does more damage closer, I kill him as well. That's a double kill. Swain bot lane is just so good with this engage. So either tell your teammate to maybe play it, or don't lock Swain if you have an enchanter, for example, in bot lane. Enchanters can work in bot lane. Some of the ones I like personally is Nami and Senna. They do pretty fine with Swain anyway, but it is best of course if you can manage to get a Nautilus, a Rel for example. And since bot lane is a dual lane, right, it's a little dependent of course on your support as well, sometimes to the synergy. But yeah, here we are very scared of where jungle is. I actually end up sporting him with W, one of W's many uses. You can see this game I already used W to bait forward Varus. I've used W to find the jungler. Again here, look, W behind Varus because he steps up the exact same spot. So again, I just wait for Rel, CC, and then I throw my E. Sadly, it doesn't land on both of them, but one is completely enough. So now, with Varus alone down here without jungle, it's obvious that any high elo jungler would look for a dive here. So I'm just gonna push it as fast as I can. Varus was trying to run back because he knew the impending doom was already on the tower. He actually goes down to Lee Sin. So it's all good. I recall, get my Blackfire. I'm really big fan of Blackfire build in bot lane. It's just a lot of damage. So we're doing Drake. And I actually know I'm not on vision. So I'm gonna actually look for a pick here. And you can see EWQ on Janna is half HP. Because I find this, Varus walks up, gets hooked by Lee Sin, and now we end up finding some more picks for us in bot lane. With enemies dead, we just push out the wave. And because of fights happening, I end up rotating to it. Since I am really strong and I would really like to be in as many fights as I can. You see with Varus dead again, I just go bot and hit the wave. We kill the tower and this is the early game done, guys. After bot lane tower falls, this is when mid game starts and you just want to go mid and look for fights with your supreme power. You can see I'm really strong in these fights. We just beat them up really hard. And from now on, you just want to go mid for the rest of the game, push out waves, secure objectives, secure towers, rotate to every team fights. Use the lead you got from early game to try and give yourself and your team a solid mid game. The game does end up going a little south, but that is not what we're focusing on today. I just want to talk about the early game. There could be multiple explanations why this game went bad. Sometimes it's your fault, sometimes it's not. But as long as you give yourself a good chance from having a strong early game, that will improve your chances a lot of winning. Compared to if you left lane while losing, right? So get good at the early game to give yourself a higher chance of winning. Now let's take a look at game number 2. This game we're not playing against double range, we're playing against an engage support. Just like I have one on Leona, which is also one of my favorite ones for Swain, right? So enemy engage support is creating a lot of space right now and really trying to hit this Leona hard. I'm just doing my best to focus on lasting the creeps that I can and landing E. You can see here, Rel goes to ward, this Jhin steps up for the 5 seconds where he's not allowed to, gets hooked, and now we level up actually on this minion we killed as well. This is like extremely unlucky / bad played by the enemy bot lane. As Jhin should of course not be walking up when Rel goes here, but you can see this game is in Grandmaster, and even in Grandmaster, silly stuff like this will legit happen. We just exploited their mistake, get the kill, we're gonna base, and go back bot lane again. And can you just see how good it is, where I just land E, and we can literally just run people down at level 3. Like Swain just feels a lot stronger than an ordinary ADC champ. And this is one of the reasons why he's so high win rate in bot lane. And that is also goes for other mages, which are also very high win rate. They're very lessly picked, of course, but they do seem to dominate a lot. Could be multiple reasons. Maybe AD carry champs are weaker in the early stages. Also mage champs can typically be very good in 2v2 like Swain is. We zone Jhin from a cannon minion. If Rel walks up, feel free to Q her. A lot of supports have bomb plating, so take that away for the next fight, right? And now we're simply just kind of holding the wave chill outside my tower. Both supports recalled, which makes it a 1 versus 1 in bot lane. And I'm not scared to fight this guy. So I'm just gonna be patient and wait for the right moment. So I wait until he kind of walks up to last hit, and then I just throw E at a little angle and I can just walk with it, right? You can see at this point I poked him down to half HP. Now I get level 6, so I'm actually gonna just walk towards him, press W behind him, so we get the slow. With the slow, E is very easy to land, and that is a solo kill from the bot lane. While both supports are roaming, right? This is like the best case scenario. You just have your support roaming to counter the other support roaming, while you're killing the ADC 1 versus 1. Because Swain, on level 6 at least, is like literally much better than any ADC you can probably find. Especially if you got a little early lead. The fights are not even gonna be close. So we team up with Hecarim here and trying to go for this play. I land an E, and you can see with electrocute damage, we just take out the Rel real quick. With her dead, I'm simply just gonna push in the wave. And I ping towards the bush now, because I wanna do a little trap. Jhin might think we recalled, so we're gonna hide. If he walks up, he's alone, we just kill him. He planned on basing, which makes sense now because it's a cannon wave. And now since I haven't seen him walk up, I know he's kind of back in base. So I'm just gonna push out the wave now. And then we can recall and spend our money, right? So I come back to bot lane again, and both supports are roaming again. This is something you will see a lot in high elo. There's gonna be a lot of roaming. But I see him taking the wards, so I just go fuck up war, so he doesn't see me. He thinks I'm gonna go to the wave first, but I actually end up running to him because I had vision on him, right? So I take him out again, and he stood no chance. Especially a champ like Jhin is a pretty good matchup, like ADC wise for Swain. There's some bad ones like Kokmao, Jinx, Kai'Sa can be a little problematic. They're kind of hard to hit. Kalista as well is hard. Now I run into the enemy bot lane. I get Shen ulted, so I'm gonna try and walk towards your teammates, guys. If you get Shen ulted, stop running away always. If you know you won't die, walk up so Shen can get a nice taunt off. He missed, but it's fine. I now have my Blackfire torch, and you can see I'm just looking for stuff all the time, placing W behind him. At one point I will catch him. So a lot of people will actually dodge towards their tower. You can see my E. I have so many Swain games and so much experience. I kind of know how people are gonna dodge, and I can just kind of predict their movement and make them walk into it. It looks very silly, it looks like they're just bad at dodging, but literally I'm just kind of reading their mind. So we get a lot of damage down, and we get a dive from Hecarim. Taking Jhin out, and Rel is now left on the tower very low. Vi comes in, but as you can see again, Swain is just so good in these fights, and especially in 2v2s, 3 versus 3s. Swain is at his best, especially with ult active, right? This is one of the reasons why he does so well in bot lane as well. And with this much early power, with this much, how many times we killed them early game, this does end up making it so we already killed tower very early, and we can start the rotation, guys, the one I'm talking about in the first game as well, right? You take down tower, and then you rotate mid. A lot of people ask me, what do I do if my mid lane doesn't want to rotate? Well, if he really doesn't want to, even if you tell him, even if you go mid, then you just have to stay bot. It's whatever, bro. Any good player, any good mid laner will rotate down bot lane. So now we just go mid, push out waves, and we just rotate and roam for fights. And you can see, I'm so fed from the early game, I'm just killing all, legit. Like, I do so much damage. I have Liandry Blackfire now, and I'm just killing everybody who gets in my sight. And you can just follow up on Leona, engage. It's so easy. Take a look at this top lane fight. Look how I just play around with Leona. So we get into a kind of bad fight here in bot lane. In a 3 versus 5. I almost like one-shot a lot of them. But this game actually also ends up going a little south, as you can see. Since I'm starting to die a bit, and we get into some pretty bad fights. So even if you have a big lead, that doesn't mean you will get the win. It does mean you will have a larger chance, because you can see in the team fights, I'm outputting a lot of damage. I'm outputting a lot of pressure, and you will not always have your team with you. Your team will not always be the better players, which is okay, because that just happens. And you can't focus on that if you want to climb. You need to focus on yourself, because yourself is the only real factor which you can change. You can't change how your teammates play. You can't change anything about that, and you will lose your mind if you start focusing on your teammates only. When you log into a league game, load in as it's like a solo game, a single player mode, and you're just gonna go in there and do as best as you can, like we did in laning phase, and you're not gonna worry about anything else. Because if you played it as well as you could, that is all that is to be done, right? A mindset I've used for climbing for a long time is that if I go into a game and I do well in laning phase, that's the 1 versus 1, that's the thing I can control. If I do well there, I'm happy, and I count that as a win. If I go into laning phase and I lose and I troll and I get solo kill, then in my head that's a lose. If you have this mindset, you just take accountability for your own 1 versus 1 gameplay, and you let that decide if you had a good game or not. Not if you win or lose LP. If this video just improved your bot lane or your mental the slightest, then I'm happy. And I want to wish you a great day and good luck on your climb.